Is it me or does One Piece not feel like One Piece anymore? I mean, one of the biggest changes that I have seen since Wano started really has been not only the animation quality, but the actual fighting. I mean, if we look back to how Luffy used to fight and the moves that were being used, they were very goofy. It was really like solely based on just, how could we creatively use this like stretching that he does. And it's kind of made a shift to like more show offy, more like aura power based. And I'm not so sure it's a good thing. It could be. I don't know. I mean, time will tell. I'm still catching up. I'm still at the beginning of Wano, so we'll see. Like, for example, look at this one scene here. I mean, this just screams like Dragon Ball Z. Like, Luffy is super mad and he's almost like turning Super Saiyan here. Like, he's just like powering up, and we don't see like ki necessarily, but like, that whole the fumes kind of look like energy, right? And that's what we start seeing throughout the fight. A lot of like aura looking energy as he fights Kaido for the first time. I mean, I am really getting a lot of like Dragon Ball Z vibe. And what I mean by this is that a lot of the fighting is like larger than life, right? And that's not necessarily One Piece's MO, at least up until now, right? But this fight here is just like grand, right? He's fighting this huge guy and he has to pull out all the stops, and as he's fighting, you're seeing all of this like crazy like energy stuff. That's obviously what it's doing, is just showcasing like how powerful these attacks are, and I get it. Like, this whole aura thing that we're seeing around is just showing how intense and how powerful these moves are. Like, literally this one scene right here where he's kind of like standing, it just really gave me like Kaioken vibes, right? Like, at this point he's standing still and he's just like angry, and I think that red around it is just supposed to symbolize like his anger, but it does look like ki, right? This fight overall, if I'm being honest, it really felt like Goku versus Vegeta, right? It felt like that first fight that we saw amongst Saiyans, right? You saw Goku using the Kaioken, Vegeta had his own energy, which was purple, and this is what we're seeing in this clash, right? A lot of red and purple as they fight each other in this grand battle, right? And to be honest with you guys, like, I didn't expect for this fight to happen. Like, online, I had only seen clips of Luffy fighting Kaido and using Gear 5, right? So I didn't even know that this was gonna come up, and for me, I'm glad that this was a nice surprise because I wasn't expecting it at all. As I'm catching up, there's things that obviously I've spoiled for myself. So this was like a nice, cool surprise that they had him fight all out so early on, right? And I think that the setup that we have here reminds me a little bit of Dragon Ball, and specifically Dragon Ball Super, where Luffy, he is going all out and he's fighting Kaido and he's landing some good punches, but they're not having a ton of effect. And it does remind me of Goku versus Girin in a way, where it's just kind of showing us that in order for Luffy to be able to reach a new level, to be able to fight on his same level, like, something crazy is going to have to happen, right? His current state is just nowhere near where he needs to be. Now let's forget for a second the beatdown that Kaido gives Luffy when he just like uses him as a baseball and he uses his baseball bat to freaking hit one of the mountains, right? Like, that's when you see like, oh crap, like Luffy just lost. However, if you really think about it, all of the attacks that Luffy is landing on Kaido, like, you're not seeing any blood, you're not seeing any like super loss of momentum as he's getting hit, and above all of this, the dude is drunk, right? So he's drunk. Luffy is fighting him on a weakened state, if you will, right? He's not 100%, and yet he's not able to make any real damage on this guy. I don't know, for me, like, I really enjoyed having this clash down so early on in the arc, because it just kind of gives you something tangible to go to, right? I think up until this point, it's been like Kaido's so strong. But in this one clash, you really see the gap between power. And, I'm still left thinking, like, how is he going to overcome this? And obviously, I've had the spoilers and I know what happens, but I just think that overall I appreciate the storytelling and the setup that they did here. And for me, like, it really did feel a lot like Dragon Ball Z, although I will have to say a lot better. So I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think, and as always, I just want to remind you that we must persevere. Peace.